Hey, good people. It is Jody of Forever Voice. Yeah, I got to get on with it. The episode that my husband and I recorded, it just disappeared. The system started glitching. I don't have it. So I had to do it myself. Yeah, I got to move on with my damn life. Forget about it. Let's go ahead and do this work and knock out these last few episodes here, get a recap on them so I can just get all the way over it. It is Thursday, October 6th. Yeah, let's do the work, y'all. I did it for you. What am I talking about? Not let's do the work. Let's just listen, talk it out, right? Okay, coming up. Hey, good people. It is Jody. I am back, Forever Voice. So, yeah, we had that Heart2Heart episode, just so I can get that out there. We had that Heart2Heart episode, my husband and I, just to let you know, we actually recorded part 2, and it just went up in smoke. The system started glitching, things, I don't know what happened. So I'm going to have to do it by myself because I'm not even going to torture my husband that way again because it was kind of putting him on the spot. But just so you know, it really was a good one. And if it ever does, I don't know, by some strange event of some sort, if it ever pops back up, I'll be sure to post it. But it just went up in smoke. It's the craziest thing ever. Anyway, we won't even spend much time on that. We're going to go ahead and get through those episodes that I talked about. It seems like a month ago, and I'm still not done. I hate to be behind. So I'm going to go ahead and run through these episodes real quick, get you through this part 2 of what would have been Heart2Heart, but just the episode went up in smoke. Sorry, y'all. Episode 11, BFF. This is where I discuss how that beneficial friend comes into your life, and you hold on to them, and you need to kind of understand the benefits of that friend, how they teach you and kind of walk you through some things that you really don't even know that you're missing. That's what the beneficial friend was all about. And I kind of focused on my nephew and my son for a little bit, and I really was able to realize how important my son was to his twin cousin. They were like twins. How important he was to him, and that really made me feel good, and how important my friend Gentry was to me, and what she brought to my life, just that additional something that I didn't know that I was missing. It's just that important to have that BFF, just that beneficial friend in your life. And yeah, I think that about sums it up for the BFF. 12, or I don't even know if it was a BFF. I think it was just a BF. My bad. Anyway, 12, that deep dive. I'm outside. What is going on? I'm being attacked by bees out here. I don't know what the situation is. But anyway, I am outside. You may hear a bird here and there, but they're not hanging out in my yard like they used to. Anyway, episode 12, which was deep dive. And deep dive had to do with the focus on those gifts that the people around you have, and how you do kind of gain things when you pay attention to those particular gifts. I talk about my daughter and her focus, that razor sharp focus on the things that are important to her, and how she maneuvers through things and just gets through. I talked about BJ and how BJ he never got lost. I just remember him being in the car with me it was an added safety feature for me because he never got lost. And I get lost all the time. I still get lost in a place that I've lived over 20 years. I still get lost. BJ never really got lost. And I told the story about when he was in kindergarten and how he had directed the bus driver to our house because he ended up on the wrong bus. So he can get lost in the physical sense, just, where he actually is, but kind of getting to places. Yeah, he's good with that. He's excellent with that. I think that about sums that thing up, other than my good friend Christian, who was coming to bring me a gift and just to let me know that she was fighting for me. And then she passed away shortly thereafter. And I was thinking in my mind that I didn't do what I needed to do before she passed, but it wasn't about that at all. It was just about giving that gift and moving on. letting her or letting um, her letting me have this special gift and her moving on, and that's it. Just letting it go after that. Being accepting of that special gift and understanding it and recognizing it. And that dedicated, I remember that episode, Christian. That was an important one for me. The next one was who? Um, just being authentic and being honest. And it's difficult to be authentic and honest and be you, especially in different places, because in different environments, being you is good. But in other environments, being you might not feel as good. But yeah, trust and believe. Being you wherever you go is living your truth, and living your truth in an unconditional way is always, always the best way. Communicating with care and appreciating the feedback that you get, all of the feedback that you get. I talked about Grant and how Grant just kind of called me out on some stuff, and I had to take that all the way in. And that it's important to be able to take those things in, because you have to know how to take things on the chin, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. And that's probably the most important time to be able to accept when those things really and truly do hurt. And that was episode 13, and that was who. 14, that episode was about lessons learned. That one was incredibly important to me, because I think it's important to discuss that people in your life who are still in the same place that they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, listen, that is theirs to deal with, because they have not learned the lesson that they need to learn to be able to move on. There is no reason for anyone to feel sorrow for someone, because these things just keep happening. No, that's not what it is. It's not what it is. It's the fact that they have not learned the lesson. So when you don't learn the lesson, guess what? These things keep coming around over and over again. And you just keep living that same either situation or that same particular part of your life. You just keep living it because you refuse to learn. You just want to keep doing it over and over again. And that's on, whoever that individual may be. Me personally, I like to keep moving and I like to keep growing. I have no intention of living my life the exact same way I'm living my life right now, 5 years from now. This is a growing situation. This is a growing thing. This is a path. I have no intention on doing that. Those who do, that's fine. I got no problem with that. That's just not what I want to do. And I talked about also my son's good friend that was with him when he passed away, and how he has learned the lessons, and how he is growing and saying, hey, I got to keep going. I have a whole life that I have to enrich. He has things that he has to do, and he understands that. And I talked about how I was really proud of that. Yeah, I dedicated that episode to Barry because I'm so proud of him, and he's been there for me and given me what I needed in my times of grief. Whenever I needed, he absolutely never turned the door, closed the door on me. So I appreciated that, and that episode was dedicated to him. Episode 15 was truthful, being able to pull back and finding a gift within the truth versus that created life. Parents have to be the second layer of education, of their kids' education. That was another thing that I touched on in that. And I know that kind of seemed like I just jumped from one thing to another, and I think I kind of did. But I remember just talking about pulling back and just kind of seeing what is actually there, and how we spend a lot of time creating things that really are not our truth. And when we do that, we waste a lot of time. Being honest with ourselves is probably the biggest, that's probably the most difficult task in life, is to be honest with ourselves. We can be far more honest with others than we can ourselves. And that is that truth that I was talking about. And I did kind of move into the education system. And I talked about how I was trying to move myself into this job. And I realized that I was putting myself back in the very same position that I had just fought my way out of. And I was going right back into it. And I had to tell the truth. This interview and how it was going, it wasn't going right because I wasn't telling the truth. Like I was trying to finesse myself into something. No, live your truth and things will fall into place. Sometimes it doesn't happen as quickly as we would like, but yep, help is on the way if you're willing to trust, if you're willing to believe, if you're willing to live your own truth. And again, I went back into that education thing about parents being the second layer because the resources that are left out there, unless you have your student in some kind of school where you're paying like mega bucks, hey, you are that second layer of education. They need it. And it is not enough to just say, hey, my child is an A student, a B student, AP student. That's not enough. You need to dig in and find out what is actually going on. And you need to be that second layer of education, which, yes, means preparing them for life. There just aren't enough resources in the schools. I'm telling you from what I know. I can't speak for every single school, but I'm confident in saying that I'm speaking for the vast majority of them because I speak to a lot of educators. They're still my friends, so we have these conversations and I know they're not making it up and I know I'm not making it up. It's not a doomsday, no, or doomsday. No, it's not that, but it is a day to, yes, be truthful and understand what you're looking at. Don't shy away from it. Dig in and find out what it is you need to work on for your child to prepare them for life. That's what it's all about. 16, cycles, just recognizing that when you're in a certain state, regardless of whether you're grieving, like I have my grief with my son, whether you're dealing with that or not, everybody is grieving in one way or another, to be honest. But recognizing whether or not you have it to give or whether you have goodness and kindness to give to someone else when you're kind of in some spaces or you're kind of in that predicament where you are just feeling a little bit tapped out, and recognizing that, yes, your life is moving in a cycle as well. So make sure that you're in a good place in that cycle when you have people that you love that are experiencing some really serious traumatic events. Making sure you're good to give what needs to be given and checking yourself. Am I good to give this? And if you're not, please don't try. It's not going to come out right. Trust me, it's not going to go over well. Make sure you're okay to give that love, give that energy, give that strength. Make sure you are before you end up maybe offending someone or things just not working out the way you want and just regretting it. Just, kind of make sure. Does that mean ignore? No, I didn't say that. But just kind of, hey, I'm thinking about you and, let that be that. Because that's the best you can do. So make sure you're honest with yourself about that in those cycles, because all of our lives are in cycles and they're in different cycles at different times. So yeah, recognize that. Episode 17, be still. Make sure you're not ignoring the things that you need to pay attention to because they are important in your path. Sometimes you get so busy being busy, you're ignoring things, you're moving past things, and you're just not giving yourself what you are supposed to receive because you're so busy just being busy. Just be still sometimes. And I talked about how my sister had to tell me, girl, just be still. That's the thing. Sometimes you got to be still, take a step back because you can't even see what's out there because you're so busy scrambling. So yeah, be still. That was a real important one for me. Next one was I own mine. I mean, quite frankly, it was just saying, yeah, there's some messy stuff. There's messy stuff in life and some things that we have to deal with. And when they go, just kind of untouched and tucked away, they make their way back. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So ownership, owning your stuff. You're not going to ever be able to own everything, every single thing. You're not going to ever be able to do that. But do your best at owning what is right there. It'll bring you some happiness. Trust me, because you're going to lift it. You're going to get it off yourself. You're lifting that heaviness. So yeah, that's a good thing. Next one was expectations. And that really had to do with the expectations for my son's 1 year anniversary and making sure that there is an intention before the expectations, because expectations tend to almost make things just kind of fairy tale like sometimes. I mean, we like to say, oh no, well, the expectation was fair, or, no, that was, I understand that expectation. That was a good expectation, but sometimes our expectation, depending on where we are, is just not realistic. If it is, great. But if it's not, there's such disappointment in that. So making expectation not really an expectation, but an intention. What do you intend to get out of different things that you experience and the big things in life that you're about to undergo, that you're about to go through? Set an intention for that. Make it realistic. And my intention was to make sure that I experienced something that was of love and that I gave myself breaks for my son's anniversary. And that's exactly what I did. And it worked out. Now, did we really, really get to a point of partying and, just a bunch of wild? Yeah, we didn't do that. We didn't. Was that a negative thing? Absolutely not, because we still loved on one another, and that's what was important. Had I made the expectation something beyond that, beyond loving one another, I could have disappointed myself. But I had no real expectation other than us treating each other with respect. That's a given. With my family anyway, that's a given. My intention was to receive that love and to also give myself the breaks that I needed. And did I ever? Yeah, I disappeared quite a few times because that's what I needed to do. And that's what happened. And I'm glad. I'm glad because my family held me in such, they just held me in such a loving way that I felt loved. I felt cared for. I felt protected. And that's what I needed. And I need to thank my family for that. That is really and truly what I needed at that time. And yeah, it was flowing. The love was flowing. So yeah, that's all I needed to do. I'm recapping my last episodes. This was my part 2, and I had to do my part 2 solo because, like I said, my Heart2Heart part 2, the original one, it just went somewhere in the airways. So to me, that means, no, Jody, you got to do this on your own. So I did do this. I'm good. I'm done with it. And I'm hoping to have another 20 episodes that I'm able to reflect on and grow from. My next episode is going to be about what I've learned and some experiences, some things that I want to share with you all about, some things that I learned, and what things kind of look like moving forward. I've had a lot of changes that go on in my life recently, and I just want to keep sharing and keep hopefully bringing some light and love to your life as well. Stay tuned, stay with me, and my next episode will be coming up very, very soon, maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe even this evening. It is, it's the 6th. It's Thursday? Yeah, who knows? I may crank something out tomorrow. Depends on how I feel. I got my information ready. So let's play it by ear. We will see. I'm glad to have spent some time with you. I hope you were able to gain something from this. I did the work for you. Next episode, you start doing the work for you again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me. I'm out. See y'all soon. Bye-bye. All right, back for the recap. Simply said, just kind of explaining and going through some things. I'm done with this because I'm already frustrated about losing that episode that me and hubby did together. I'm frustrated about it. I'm moving on, moving forward. There ain't nothing else I can really say. Did the best I could given what I knew I already had. Yeah, I gotta get over it. I'm not gonna worry about it. See y'all for the next episode, episode 22. and we'll do the work together. Thank you. See y'all. Bye.